Hi, it's Dustin Lanier. Thanks for listening. Please find me on LinkedIn for original public sector operations content every week. And please reach out to me if I and my team of procurement professionals at Civic Initiatives can help you be a public procurement change agent. Good afternoon. It's January 14th. I'm going to do a readout of the 5 for Friday post today. And then next week, I am intending to do an article on some of our content plan for 2022, and that will be my podcast for next week. I'll talk about that a little bit more at the end. So in case you're only listening to this on podcast and you don't know what a 5 for Friday is, every Friday I summarize 5 current event topics or posts that may have come across for people who are interested in public sector and public procurement, because like many of you, I get very busy in the week and I can't look at everything in the week, but I typically get myself organized on Sunday, and this is the kind of list I can go back through and spend some time on. I get a lot of good feedback on it, so hopefully you like the topic area as well. So first, Rob Hanfield, who we've done 2 different pieces of content with, and he's always very knowledgeable, and I think he's the voice of supply chain on LinkedIn in terms of consistent content and original content, so definitely get him on a follow if you don't already. He has a new piece out with some of his thoughts on the fragile nature of supply chain and why it continues to be an issue and what are some of the factors. Secondly, the National Association of State Procurement Officials put out their top 10 priorities earlier, I think last week, and then they jumped straight into it with a blog piece on customer service. Third, I really like NASBO, which is the state budget officers seem to always have something that's a little bit different and not just the first thing that you see. And they really do a good job of cross-secting topics and issues across state government. So they have a piece out on where they've tracked and summarized governors' proposed budgets for FY 2023. As a former governor's staffer, I know that governors' budgets are not always, of course, the actual budget because you have to reconcile with the legislature, but certainly it's good for direction and anticipation of priorities, and it almost always has the impact on the final documents through the negotiation between the legislature and the executive. Fourth, next Thursday, Procurated with David Yarkin and NIGP with Rick Grimm are going to host a discussion on Thursday about the role of peer reviews and supplier selection. I'm sure that'll be an interesting discussion, and NIGP webinars are always well attended. I believe I'll have a webinar I'll participate in with them in the spring, and so I'm looking forward to that. I'll tell you more about that as it gets closer. Finally, StateScoop, which is one of the main entities that covers public IT issues, has an interesting article where they're quoting folks like Ed Toner from Nebraska, John Quinn from Vermont, Doug Robinson, who's the executive director from NASCIO, about what it means to be a good CIO. And those guys are all good thinkers on that topic, and that's worth your time if you're in that area. Also, in addition to the 5 topic areas, I wanted to point out that we started a new series that we'll do for most of the year, where we are going to help introduce you to some of our great team members who help make this company a reality in terms of our work for clients and the ability to have fun together, helping work on procurement issues. I focused on Dawn Rose, who is 4 years at Civic and is a senior procurement automation consultant. And we will progressively work through everyone in the company. So you'll get a chance to see them as hopefully LinkedIn clicks around and lets you know that it was their anniversary year. I'll have a little placard that can celebrate them at more or less the same time. So I mentioned that next week I'm going to do an article that'll be the first time I've published in that newsletter since I started it last month. I started it not knowing what the uptake would be, and within 24 hours I had 1,000 people who had clicked the button to receive it, and then I think it's now somewhere north of 1,700. So I'm excited to use that as a content vehicle. I'm going to try to use them for things that are more meaningful. This next one that I'm going to do probably on Tuesday will be a little bit more about some of my process again, as I've been trying to do some content planning in the last few weeks so that I can get back up the kind of content engine that we had for most of 2021. both some of our anticipated types of content and then new things we'll try. I'll include a little snippet of a LinkedIn audio room that I participated in today, which is still in beta, but I'm hoping that I get access to that. And we do some of our content in Clubhouse, although mainly I use Clubhouse as a vehicle for recording group podcast sessions. So if LinkedIn gets an audio section up, I'll definitely be one of the first people at the table for using that for some of our purposes. So with that, have a great Friday and a great weekend.